we gonna have a good time and keep you in the know. Let all your trouble go. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know.
Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Michellita Taylor. Thank you so much for tuning into the In the Know radio show right here on the Victory Station. I missed you guys on last Saturday. Hopefully you had a wonderful one, and today is going to be even better. It is a beautiful Saturday, and I do hope you are enjoying this day. It's 84 degrees, so it's spring, but we're getting the summertime vibes on today, okay? We are already in the month of May, and wow, what an incredible month that has already kick-started. I have to and I must acknowledge that May is the National Speech, Language, and Hearing Month. And as a speech language pathologist, I just want to shout out all of the individuals that work in the schools, the hospitals, home health, all the different facilities to help regain the communication skills from individuals that may have lost them. So shout out to them today, shout out to us. If you know an SLP, make sure you show them some love. And we are 1 week away from Mother's Day. Mother's Day, it's time to shower all of the moms, the grandmas, the godmoms, the play mamas. Listen, don't wait until the last minute to make sure you show some love. So be intentional with how you show that expression. Get out there and give them something special. But that's not why you're on the radio right now. You are here to listen to an incredible guest, and I am so grateful to have this jewel with me here today, live in this studio. I have a feeling about this show today. We got our tissues in here. We are ready to be real and authentic with our conversation today, talking about mamas and business, okay? Because mamas have a lot of business that they handle. So in order to get this conversation kick-started well this month, I have none other than Rickell Hill. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, let me give her flowers first. Rickell is a purpose-driven leader, speaker, and women's empowerment founder dedicated to helping women heal, evolve, and boldly walk in their God-given purpose. As the founder of Elevate Her Boldly, she creates transformational spaces where women can surrender what's holding them back and rise into who they are and always were meant to be. With a heart for authenticity and a passion for sisterhood, Rickell leads with faith, vision, and fierce love for a community. Clap it up for my girl, Rickell. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
There it is. There it is. We like to have that applause there. Listen, Rickell, you just kind of jumped on the scene in the last 5 to 10 years here in Jacksonville. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Philadelphia,
Philly.
Yes.
You know, the last couple of guests that have been on the show have been from Jacksonville, but I knew you weren't from Jacksonville. I just didn't know you were from Philly. So what did that look like? You're from Philly. What brought you to Jacksonville?
So my dad is retired military.
Okay.
So we moved from Philly to Maryland to Virginia. I graduated high school in Virginia, came here. I actually went to Sandalwood for 2 weeks.
Girl, that's my alma mater.
2 weeks, and I went back to Virginia. I was like, oh
no.
So I went back. I graduated in 2000.
Okay.
And then my dad stayed here. We made a home here, and then I met my wonderful husband
Yes.
here and our daughters.
And maybe mention who the wonderful husband is. I'm going to let you mention the wonderful husband.
So the wonderful husband is Javon Hill.
Javon Hill, the one and only of MVP band, the world-renowned band. Oh, man. Well, we are so glad that you landed here in Jacksonville. You know, timing is everything, and you have been intentional with maximizing the season that I believe that God has had you in. And so we're going to talk about a couple of things today, but I want to talk about when you first realized the call of God on your life in the space that you're in right now.
Ooh, well,
Because this is a heavy call, and it's so necessary right now, specifically for women, because we are the neck that helps the head move. And so the strength that's required to do that, you have really just formulated a system for women to be able to say, hey, I'm strong or I'm not strong, I need help, I need support, I need space, just to be, when did you realize that was necessary?
So this actually came about 8 years ago. I actually started with Beauty and the Beat. I partnered with another young lady that used to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. Her husband is a musician as well. So we did that together for probably about 3 or 4 years, and then we both transitioned. I was, pulling her in a different direction as well as myself. We are still friends to this day, but she is doing some great things in Atlanta, Georgia. So I am now pushing forward, and I have transitioned from Beauty and the Beat to elevate her boldly. So it's been about 8 years. I did not know at first, and I was a little scared, just to be honest, a little fearful, because I didn't have really many girlfriends in high school. I wasn't really connected to a lot of women. I went to school, ran track, did what I needed to do, and came back home. But as I continued to work on areas within myself, I began to open up to welcoming more women, connection, sisterhood, community. And as I began to see some of the struggles and some of the areas that they needed support in, those were the same areas that I needed to, surrender, needed support, and that extra push. So God gave me a heart to be able to connect to women on a deeper level and to be able to feel what they're going through as I go through the same, challenges in different seasons as well.
What do you think that root was? Because I definitely can relate to that in terms of the younger self, high school, middle school. Oh my goodness, middle school, such a challenging time of really recognizing who you are as a young woman, not a full woman, but that your personality evolving, your confidence, showing up or not showing up, those insecurities. And so can you recall a time when you were younger where you're like, man, this is a problem. This is something that I didn't think I would be like this. Or do you feel like it was just a personality of yours where you were just more a little bit inclusive and you didn't really need or desire a lot of socialization with others?
Well, actually, it was the total opposite, because I was the oldest of 4 girls. Mm-hmm. I was the oldest of a lot of cousins. Mm-hmm. And my mom is from the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas. So, they're a little bit different. When you're in a different, you have that strong accent, and just their culture is different. But I always had that nurturing mommy. Okay, I'm the boss. You're going to listen to whatever I say.
I know what's best.
Exactly. Even though, so my cousins still to this day, I may be the youngest out of some of them and the oldest out of some of them, but they still call me, and they still, ask for prayer. They ask for, words of encouragement. They just are always leaning into what it is that God may place on my heart to share with them, or just me thinking of them, me reaching out to them. So I always had that nurturing, whether it was the controlling side of me or just me wanting to say, hey, I'm the boss, you're going to listen to me.
As it goes.
Right, exactly. And just with different roles at work, as well as track. I was a captain and a freshman.
What did you run in track?
School. I ran the 4x1,
okay.
4x4.
Okay.
I actually did long jump and the hurdles.
Come on. All things are possible. Right, yeah. Come on, gentle giant.
Right. Exactly. So I just had that. Well, I'm going to support you, and I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to be the support you need. But I always will put people before me, and I think in my adult years, that's where I can see some of the, some of the struggles and some of the areas where I still need to surrender to this day, because I would mask how Rickell feel to be able to show up for others. So
yeah, that. And as a mom of 3 girls, I'm sure, and I can kind of connect with this too, there are some things that I know I work doubly hard at now to autocorrect in myself so I can model better for my daughter so that way she won't have to. Now, granted, they're going to have and necessary because that's where the growing comes in.
Yes.
That's where the ownership and then having that relationship with the Lord comes in. But if at all possible, I can get myself, my issues, so I can know how to convey those things to her, model for her. It's exactly what I would want to do. What would you say is one area right now that you have in your mind that you're saying, I really want to grow in this area so I can model this better for my daughters?
So I would say still, because having girls is different because they watch everything you do, even the spoken and unspoken areas. They watch your facial expressions, they watch body language, how you show up for your friends, how you show up in household, all of that. So one thing I would say is, even though I'm 43, sometimes my confidence level is not always where I would like for it to be. And what I mean by that is, I know I'm capable of doing what God has called me to do and capable of showing up in the workplace, capable of showing up in the home. But sometimes I feel like if I fall short, what would that look like? Or how would they perceive that? So, meaning my girls. So I just am having more conversation with them now and telling them it's okay to fail. You don't always have to get 100, because my girls feel like if they don't get 100, it's the end of the world.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, no, as long as you tried your hardest, that's all that matters. So just building their confidence up to let them know that you can have so many gifts and talents, but you still have to show up as your authentic self.
And that's the beauty, right? That's that mirror effect. Oh my goodness. It's okay that you didn't get 100. And then now you have to go in the mirror and say, Rickell, it's okay that you didn't get 100. You did your best. You showed up. There's going to be another opportunity. So that's why I think it's such an honorable position to be a mom, and then to be a mom of a little girl, of girls, because God already knew the plan He had for your life. He knows the plan He has for those girls' lives. And He just, in His way, has a way to allow us to grow together and really be the prophet of sorts to our children and for ourselves, for the things that He wants us to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about Elevate Her. What is Elevate Her? When was she born? She is your baby. We all love her.
Elevate Her boldly, basically, was a transition from Beauty and the Beat. Beauty and the Beat was, centered around music, centered around my husband, centered around the partnership that I had with the young lady. So as I begin to evolve and develop and rediscover areas within myself, that's where Elevate Her boldly came from, because I feel like in order for you to elevate, there is some type of self-discovery that needs to take place. That it's a work in progress. Right. It's trust in the process. It's all of that together. But as I looked at women and, them healing, evolving, and rediscovering their God-given purpose, you have to do that from a place of being bold, because if you don't step out, you would never know. If you don't basically look within yourself, you would never know. So I feel like Elevate Her was from a place where I was still evolving and rediscovering Rickell, and as I'm still journeying through, I feel like Elevate Her will expand and it will grow to where it's supposed to be, but it's still in the baby stage, because even though I've been around for 8 years, it's really still baby stage for me, because I'm still developing.
And it's a good thing. Two things that you said that really stick out to me was, number one, it's like you're giving yourself permission. You're giving yourself permission to say, I want to grow. I want to be more vulnerable. I want to expand upon something that maybe I thought it was going to be, but expanding and being open to what God wants this expansion to look like.
Yes.
So I feel like a lot of us women, we don't give ourselves permission to be human and to err and to try to make it right. And we are not,
and try again
and keep the cycle going. I mean, that's what grace is for. And so we need to make sure that we're receiving it in its newness every single morning, like God gives it to us every single morning. And then the second thing that you were talking about was how the slowness of it in your eyes would seem to be, and I think quite the contrary. You know, it's like that crock pot effect. Some things need to cook.
Yes.
They need to cook a little longer, just like wine. The older things get,
Yes.
man, the more potency it has. So that's something I can say publicly that I admire about the rhythm and the rate that you're moving with this call, because a lot of people don't last because of burnout. They get an idea, boom, I want to be in the field, I want to be able to arena, I want to do this, and it's like, but how are you doing?
Right.
And so you are doing both the work for Rickell, for her family, and for the community. And I think it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So be kind to yourself. You are doing amazing. You're doing amazing. But we're going to take a quick break. I always have my guests to give me a couple of songs that are inspirational to them, because we know sometimes we don't have the words to express how we feel or what we need to God, and God allows music to do that just for us. So I am going to ask you to choose between You Know My Name, Tasha Cobbs, or I Am, Jacqueline Carr.
So that's the first one that popped in my heart was
Okay.
Tasha Cobb.
Okay.
So yes, I would say Tasha Cobb, because even in the midst of sometimes when
Yeah, when you don't know the words to say.
When I know, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, he knows. We got you, sis. We got you. Well, enjoy this song, You Know My Name by Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Yes. I love you. I'm so proud of you. We need this. Hey, Troy. I had forgot about you, my bro. I have forgot about you. Man, it's so true though, and we need to hear this as women. I'm that person too. Many of us that are so ambitious, and we have a gift box. My friend helped me with this years ago. She said, those of you, she as well, of us that have multiple gifts, it's like you're trying to do them all at one time, but our gifts are like a toolbox. You take out what's necessary right now, and then sometimes you gotta put that one back in the box. And so I think you're just doing a good job with finding that rhythm to care for you, but you're bringing other people along the journey as you are caring for you. And then you can say, okay, now how can we elevate her boldly now in a different type of space that's not as intimate as what was necessary. So you're doing a great job. Whatever lies the enemy has been trying to taunt you with, he's a liar. And the taunting, right, is confirmation that you're on the right track. And that's the part that I have to remind myself this too. If I'm being attacked, if I'm being tricked, if I'm questioning who I am, if I'm questioning my impact, if I'm questioning my ability at this juncture, 43, I'm 46, somebody lying.
I know.
And it ain't God.
Right.
There's fruit. You got a lot of fruit out there. So we can say this fruit is producing, getting testimonies, people's lives are changing. So clearly God is doing something through my submission and surrender of this. So celebrate yourself, girl. Celebrate. We need to elevate her celebration. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This is good. This is good. So we can talk about, we come back on the air, the event that you just had.
Yes.
Talk about the different, whoever you want to talk about that was there. You don't have to do that, but more or less what was the purpose of the event, and then what your plan is for the year for the 4-part series of this. And then we'll talk about Mother's Day. We'll talk about some things that, maybe some traditions that you have in your family for Mother's Day, some favorite Mother's Day memories, and yeah, we just keep it going. So it's okay. I got you, girl. I know how to talk. Just know I don't want you to think I'm talking over you. It's me just being sensitive to the moment and then to the listeners out there. Yes. But y'all see what's happening in here. Some good things are happening in here. But no, seriously, man, I think about the different communities in our city, Because you have so many churches, you have so many groups, kind of inside groups, because if you're not a part of the church, you won't know about the ministries and the groups and the connections and what you're doing just through your consistency, regardless of response, is just
right. And that's, I think, where I'm at now. And as I shared, within the community, if it's 1 or 1,000 people, I'm still gonna, show up. And when I first started, I will say it was about what it's gonna look like, balloons, decor and all of that. And now it's more so the hearts and what women need, because we really are like going through stuff within ourselves, within our, community, within our sisterhood circles and our families. So it's a lot. And then when I pulled up, I got teary-eyed outside because it was like a full circle moment, because I used to come to the station with my father-in-law all the time. And I would sit while he's working, and he was like, "You're going to be up here." And I'm like, "No, sir, I ain't doing that." And then, he had 4 of the gospel legends, and he would always try to push me out there. And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." So,
and here you are. Oh my goodness. God is so good. He is so intentional. And here you are.
And then the crazy thing about it is 2 days ago, I still have voicemails from him. And 2 days ago, I listened to one of them.
And here you are. And here you are.
Right.
In the very
And he
space.
messaged me, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, okay."
That's why it's so important to be obedient and be okay with writing, to be okay with the possible no that may be on the other end of the request, because it might just be the yes. Because I was like, "Lord, cool. It's Thursday." And it was because of Mila and the request. My mind wasn't in this space. And I'm like, "Lord, I want to kickstart this month with the right brand." It was like, Rickell. It's like, I love how he does that. And that's, again, that fuel to let you know you're on the right track. No mountain, no battle, no trial, no issue, no situation can get in the way of God's intervention, because he knows your name. He knows our name. Does he know our name?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank God he knows our name, and he knew our name before we knew our name. That's even more consolation that we have. Man, that's a good one. That's one of my songs too. That's one of my songs, because again, sometimes we just don't know the words to say. We do feel forgotten sometimes. You can feel alone whenever you're leading. But man, if you know and are reminded that God knows your name, there is nothing that we cannot overcome. And speaking of overcoming and thinking about the battle that oftentimes takes place in the mind. We do all of the things externally. We show up for the parties, like you were talking about off air. We make sure aesthetically things are beautiful with the balloons and the decor. But all of the internal struggles and turmoil that people go through in their minds are causing them to feel isolated when you are in a crowd of people. And so you just did an event on last weekend or a couple of weekends ago. That's a part of a series that you're doing throughout the year.
Yes.
Share with us about that.
So Matters of the Heart is a 4-part series that came about in October of last year. And it came about not knowing, in a few months, or as I transitioned into this season where my husband, had a health situation that came about, and I didn't know I was transitioning into that, but I had some other things that, was on my heart when it came to me as Rickell, the community, elevate her boldly, work, being a mom, being a wife, so many different things. So as I begin to transition after he experienced this health scare and me just trusting God and speaking, life into him, I began to plan, and I kept putting it off, and I kept putting it off. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. whoever shows up, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to be intentional because mental health is so important right now, and women are going through a lot. In addition to myself, we are experiencing and carrying so much weight that we don't need to carry, and sometimes behind the smiles and behind the I'm okay and I'm fine, you're really not okay, but you don't want to share because you feel like you're sharing too much, or you don't know who to share with. So Matters of the Heart was an event that spoke to women from a mental health standpoint and physical health, meaning, your annual screenings that you need to get as women, taking care of your health, working out, and how important your physical health is and your mental health. So it was a very intimate setting, about 43 women, and we just shared and we just poured into each other, but I felt like it was exactly what the women and myself needed in that moment.
That's so good. The intentionality of you. I'm a little baffled. I'm just gonna be honest, because the weight of what you are living through right now it's commendable that you still are saying yes to God. You're still saying yes to something that not only impacts you, but you say, I gotta bring somebody with me. I'm going through this, but I gotta let somebody else in on this and benefit from this type of experience so that we can all grow together. And I think that's what really speaks volumes. How are you able to continue to mesh together your family responsibilities and your community responsibilities? Because again, as a mom, we're super beings. We don't always want to be, but we are. But I feel like there's a different formula for each person. And I like that. I like this question because those of us are like, what's she going to say? Maybe I could try that, because we're always open to hearing different ideas, or it may just be the same thing. Like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So what is yours?
So I would say to definitely give yourself grace, and if you need to take a pause, take a pause. I've had moments where I did have to take a pause from the community, but I shared exactly what I was going through. It didn't have to be in full detail, but I felt like the community that I have, they're extremely supportive. They cover me in prayer, they'll reach out. So a lot of them follow, my husband on social media, and some of them knew what he was going through before I even shared, because, he shares a lot on social media. So a lot of them reached out to me, but I had to take a pause and really show up and be there for my husband as well as my kids.
Yeah.
So I would say you have to create a system. I won't say a balance, because you're going to fall short in some area, and there's no balance to giving 100% to your family and 100% to your purpose and your what you've been called to do. So I would say being intentional, being there for those individuals that are needing you in that moment, and then you will be able to transition at a later time and pick back up whatever you had to put down in the moment. But definitely listening to your body, showing up for yourself first, and then being the support that you need. So just being intentional.
How much conversation do you have with the girls on things that you have happening in your life? I know for me, I try to include my daughter in whatever I'm doing as much as I can, whether it's rehearsal, before service, whether it's a competition, something. I want her to kind of just see what's happening or why I may be away, because mommy's, doing this. And granted, she's just 3, but it's amazing what 3-year-olds can do. You know what I'm talking about, if you have one too. The insight that they have. So what does that dialogue look like? Because I know those girls are very, very bright and intuitive.
So it's actually funny, but it's not funny, because we have 3 girls, and I feel like each of my girls are different seasons of Rickell, or different areas within my life. Like my 3-year-old is who I am becoming and who I am right now. My 10-year-old is who I was when I was younger, because she's feisty, she is the boss. She is exactly how I was when I was younger. And JDI, she's the 9-year-old. She's like a balance between me and my husband. So she is, okay, you need to slow down now. Mommy, you need to not do this. Or Daddy, you shouldn't do this. So they see a whole lot more than what I want them to see at times. But they help me with all of my events, whether it's doing gift bags, whether it's, you know, the words of encouragement, like at Matters of the Heart, I gave an envelope to every woman that was in the room. I placed it on the chair, we opened it at the end, and it was just like a heart whisper from me to them. And it was different, like affirmations or different sayings. So they actually helped me put those in the envelopes. So just them helping me in giving their opinion or their ideas as well.
How important do you think that is?
I think that's extremely important, because not saying that they will, you know, pick this up and carry it and do it in their own way, but it may be something that they want to do, and I want to be able to support them just like they support me. So even if they're sitting up and they have school and they're like, Mommy, I want to sit up for 30 more minutes so I can help you. I just want them to be a part, because it first starts with my girls before I can show up for, you know, the ladies in my community.
That modeling of that type of behavior, that modeling of service, that modeling of ministry, that modeling of selflessness, I feel like are traits that can long live within them beyond. I mean, because we can see it in children, generally speaking. We can see a child who's helpful. We can see a child who's generous. We can see a child who's wealthy. We can see, or a good leader. Or a good leader. So we can see those things early. So that helps us even help to cultivate, you know, what God may be giving us a little sneak peek on what, you know, He has planned for their lives. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. How do you handle the demands of the community? I mean, because we're talking about women. You know how we're women, so we know who we are. And so when you're talking about a community of women coming together to support, link arms with one another in the highs and the lows, and sometimes when you're at the low, another person may not be able to see, I don't have capacity right now to be there for you like I was before. How do you handle that if you see that a person is not maybe being receptive to those cues?
So I have experienced that, you know, a number of times in a community, and I just tell them, hey, you know, at this time I have a lot going on. Doesn't mean I'm not there for you, because you can always cover someone in prayer. You can always be the support they need, but I can't show up for you as I once did. And I'm just vocal now about it, because before I would try to go and like burn myself out, and I'm like, okay, I'm showing up for this person, but they ain't showing up.
Whoa, say it again.
I need to show up, and I know sometimes we can have a little bit more in our tank to be able to pour than they can for us.
Right.
And I just had to.
I love that. I love that you said you could show up in prayer. That's still showing up. Yes. I can show up by sowing a seed. I can show up by giving you a referral.
Yes.
For someone else to be able to
share the post on Facebook.
Share the post on Facebook, but my physical ability, I'm unable to do so.
Yes.
I love that. How have you gotten better with delegating? Because you seem to be a person who likes to just make okay, you said it, I didn't say it.
So, you know, I'm doing the 31-day surrender challenge. And
tell us about it.
So for the month of May, for Rickell, as well as the Fix Your Crown community on Facebook, we are doing a 31 days of surrender. And the number
so there's still time.
Yes, we are only on day 3.
Connected with that. So this is May 3rd, and you said this is the Fix My Crown community.
Fix Your Crown Sisterhood community on Facebook.
On Facebook,
so
okay.
If they go to Rickell Hill, they can click on the link through one of the posts that I did share. But in the surrender, my number one focus was control.
Oh my.
So, and I did speak about delegation, and I'm not going to say I have an issue. I'm going to say that's an area of concern.
Okay, area of growth.
I need to let down because I had it at work, and I just feel like I will delegate until someone shows me they don't want to do it anymore, but they're not vocal to tell me they don't want to do it anymore.
So the actions.
Correct.
Okay.
Is in their actions or how they deliver.
Mm-hmm,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So delegation for me has been difficult in my workspace as well as in my home, as well as everything that pertains to Rickell. So control was number one for me. And then day 2 yesterday was surrendering the fear of the unknown. And today is surrendering being perfect.
Ooh, perfectionism.
Yes.
Oh man.
So yeah, so it's definitely a challenge
Yeah.
for me. So I know once it's completed, because I have a jar and I just drop everything in it. Don't know if at the end of the challenge I'm going to look at everything I dropped in it. But I just feel like it was an area where I needed to surrender. I probably surrendered it before, but I feel like I picked it back up.
Yeah.
And now I can see, like, just in the little actions and the little things I do, if there's an area that I surrender, I take a step back and I have to, you know, take a moment and be like, this is the area that you just surrendered on yesterday. And I shared in a community yesterday, it's okay if you pick it back up, but you have to remember in that moment that is a reason that you needed to surrender it again, or there's a reason that it's coming back up to the forefront.
Right.
Is an area.
And it can look different.
Exactly.
It can be very subtle. And so there is that, again, intentionality in terms of affirmations, confessions, you know, just saying those things out loud. I am no longer, I will not, I denounce whatever it is on a daily basis until it becomes behavioral. Because overnight is just not realistic. We've been doing these things for a long time. Yes. So sometimes it's going to take maybe not the same amount, because through, you know, the Holy Spirit, he's able to, you know, help get rid of things quickly, but giving ourselves that grace to say, man, I knew I surrendered that, but I get another chance right now. Or just the awareness of it too. That's growth.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're not even aware that we put something down and picked it up and say, oh man, I wasn't supposed to do that.
Somebody gonna tell you. Hey,
Oh, somebody. Now what you not know, y'all, which is what the community is for.
They gonna let me know.
Yeah.
Is there an area you said you was working on? They gonna bring it up and I'll be like, thank you. Yes, I'm still working.
Oh my goodness. So I was gonna ask this question, but you kind of hit it on the nail on the head right now in terms of your support systems that are helping you to stay the course of what you are doing right now. And it sounds like at home you have an incredible support system. What are some of the other extending support systems you have? And that we can lean into, because some of us, I apologize for cutting you off, but I'm just thinking about some of our listeners who deal with the control and may feel like they don't want to be a burden to other people. And so, but there are people waiting to support them and to be those extra arms and legs to help them, whatever, on the mission that God has for them.
So I have a few young ladies that I do reach out to, but you know, in this season, for me, I was going to them so much, and it seemed like I was going to them more than I was going to God first. So in my daily surrender and just different things that I'm going through right now and different things that I'm working on, I am sharing with him more and journaling more. But I do have my support. I have my ladies that keep me accountable, that say, hey, Rickell, you know, you said you was working on this, you're not working on it. You said you was going to be finished this by this time frame. So I'm actually reading, well, I just completed it, Mel Robbins. So her 5 second. The 5 second, oh my goodness, I just went blank. But it was 5 second rule. And basically she says it can take you like 5 seconds to talk yourself out of something or talk yourself into something. So in those moments where I feel like I'm self-defeated or fear start coming up, I take those 5 seconds and I say a little prayer and I'm like, God, I know you didn't just give me this for me to just keep it in this book or lay it down. You're giving me this for a reason. Show me exactly what it is that you want me to do. So in that moment, that's what I had to do when it came to matters of the heart, because I was putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I said, you know what? Once you hit Eventbrite and you get live,
We're not
It's
turning
no
it back.
time. Exactly. So that's what I'm doing in so many different areas where I may feel defeated.
Yeah,
I'm taking those 5 seconds, saying a little prayer, Rickell, you got this.
you got it.
So I do have my support system, but I'm learning to lean more on God than I have to.
And how awesome is it for you to even recognize that season of in battle? It's okay. There's the recognition was there, because we do sometimes the extremities of it, right? So you go through the season, I'm not asking anybody for anything.
Yes.
Now you're burnt out, and people are like, why didn't you ask me?
Yes.
Then you start over asking, and it's like, oh, I should have asked God. But both are necessary to
Yes.
get you to that point of which I like that you, one of the first guests that said balancing really doesn't exist. Orbiting, and I got that from Pastor Mike Jr. He talks about orbiting. Everything is up in the air,
Yes.
but some things are going to get a little bit more of your focus at a time. And so to know that I've been focusing on other people's opinions, other people's support, as opposed to what God is saying for me to do. And speaking to God, He will let us know who to go to, if we have to go to anybody. So both are so necessary. And there's grace for that, which is such a beautiful thing. We're going to do one more song. Our time goes by so quickly. We're going to do one more song. Okay. Refiner or Oceans?
So I would say refiner.
Okay.
And I would say refiner because I feel like there are still areas within myself that God is perfecting. I don't always get it right, but I know in Him, perfection is not necessary.
Yeah.
So I would say refiner.
Refiner.
Yes.
Quick commercial break and enjoy Refiner by Maverick City Music. Oh, this is good, sis. This is good. It's good.
I'm just like now, as I, after we went through everything in December, then January, it just allowed me to trust God more.
Yeah.
And I would say because I didn't look at everything that we were going through or what it looked like when we was in a hospital, I just kept trusting God. I just blacked out everything and just put my focus on my husband and God. So it just took my faith to another level in Him, to trust Him in the midst of what it looked like. And that's with my event, that's with my career, with just parenting my kids, because it's Mother's Day, but because a lot of my posts are scheduled in a community, and I struggled with being a perfect mom, and that's something that's going to post on Sunday, and then me having to surrender my marriage. So I'm like, this challenge just like taking me like, oh my goodness. So I said, Lord, I want to be intentional. The areas that I kind of not put before God, but those areas that I magnify that I should be surrendering.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that.
So I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's amazing how God has a way of just recentering us.
Yes.
That He allows conflict, He allows trauma, He allows just those unknown, unexpected events to happen that jolt you. And you literally are left to stop,
Yes.
breathe, and pray. You don't know what to do next. And He's like, I've always been here.
Yes.
So let's get back to the basics
Yeah.
of you consulting me, acknowledging me in all your ways. And
Right.
I can direct you. Stop then. And that's hard in the times that we live in. I mean, especially with social media. As much as I post, I am not that social media person. Like, I'm just not.
I'm not either, but, and you know what? I did a fast from social media.
Yeah.
Like, I did a 40-day fast,
Mm.
and it was from social media. It was
I think I remember you doing that.
fried food. It was from the things that Rickell loved.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back on it, I really didn't even want to be on it.
Right.
I'm like, it's just so
Consuming.
much on there, and it can consume you.
Mm-hmm.
And you scroll for 10 minutes and it turned into 3 hours. So I'm just like, I want to be intentional in my relationships as well as everything that I do. And sometimes I do fall short. And I feel like the ladies that's within my circle will say, you know, Rickell, you're not showing up how you used to show up. Is everything okay? Or I may not reach out to them as much and they check in and I'm like, you know what, sis, I haven't been a good friend to you in this season because I haven't showed up for how you know, how you need me to show up. So I am trying to do better with that, and then with my spouse and with my kids and with work, I'm not just like, it's a lot. It's a sometimes. So you have to take those pause moments because if not,
pause and pace.
Yes.
Because life, while we're still going through these changes, it's still happening. Like nothing ever stops. It's still happening, and it's still going to require attention, especially as moms. It's like with me this past week with Mila, recovery, it was an experience. So just her and I, and to kind of be nurturing, but a little more encouraging, and then to take over, and then I'm crying because I feel like I mean, it was just a myriad of emotions, and it was like, you gotta take those times to stop. So there were moments she sleep, I went downstairs, and it was just like, God, help me.
Yeah, you have to be okay with saying you're not okay. And I struggled with that. And back in December, I had to say, hey, you know, I'm not okay. And then I had to be, you know, okay, because my 9-year-old was in there with us when we went through, you know, the whole thing. So just making sure she was okay and then talking to her and explaining to her. So we talked to them, you know, different things that he's currently doing as he transitioned back to, you know, being fully active and fully into all that. Because, you know, my husband thinks he's Superman. And
yes,
I'm like,
he does.
You need to sit down and relax. So I'm just grateful. And I'm just like, I feel like I owe that to God. And I know I don't. But I just feel like that, like, God, it could have been different.
And we think that he is a refiner. Oh my goodness, those areas of our lives that we think we have under control, that we think we mastered. No, he continues to help us to grow and to refine those areas with love and passion, compassion, and with great patience. And as mothers, we have to have a lot of patience. So Mama Rickell, Mother's Day is next weekend. And I know you said your mom is very active in your family, and so she really helps you to be greater, right? To be greater in the community. What are some Mother's Day traditions you guys have, if any?
So it's, you know, me and my 3 sisters, and my mom is grateful to still have her mother. And my granny lives with my mom, she's 87.
Wow.
So we just do dinner, you know, pour the gifts on my mother and just show her how much we appreciate her. Because when I tell you, my mom does everything. She picks all of our kids up from school.
Oh, wow.
Every day. She picks all of our kids up from school. They eat dinner before we have to pick them up. And she just shows up. So it's more like mom/nanny/ best friend / whatever you need all in one. So I'm extremely grateful. And I know that my mom carries a lot of the weight to allow me to do what it is that I do, whether that's working, whether that's, you know, being able to support my husband, or just do stuff that Rickell wants to do. So I know Mother's Day only comes once a year, and we're supposed to celebrate, you know, those close to us year round. But that one day, we definitely show her how much we appreciate and celebrate her.
As a mom who is a community leader, what are some ways that you're able to kind of pour back into other mothers who may have the same type of aspirations? Because I know, you know, a lot of, and for myself right now, I am big on encouraging moms to know that it's not too late to pursue their dreams, to pursue their aspirations, to walk out what God has called them to be while raising your children. And it isn't an easy thing, but I just have this thing in my mind, well, we're going to have to stand before God. He's going to say, why did you do that? And I can say, well, I had a baby. He's like, but you also had
and you could have time to do all everything else.
So what are some words of encouragement to a mom who may be listening right now, and she's like, I have a ministry that I want to birth, or I have a business that I really want to see if this is the time where we can get off the ground, but I don't know if I should because I'm a mom, and I have a child, and I don't want to feel like I'm neglecting them, or I don't know if I have what it takes to be successful in this space. what's something that you could say to encourage her?
So I would say structure. Coming up with a schedule to be able to do all the things you want to do. So you know how we scroll on social media or we show up and do everything else, but exactly what we should be doing.
Right.
So I would say create a schedule. Put an hour, 2 hours into that time, and 2 hours into your kids. If you wake up early or a few hours early, 2 to 3 hours early, that's your 2 to 3 hours to plan whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And before you go to sleep, spend time on your dreams and your aspirations. So I would definitely just say to don't give up. You're able to do everything that you want to do, whether you're a mom, whether you're a single mom, whether you're a married mother. You're able to do everything that you need to do, and just find that one support person to hold you accountable. And put timelines and stick to it.
Yes, and let them know what you're working towards.
Exactly.
Like you said, with your daughters, helping to stuff those envelopes, having those open conversations. Mommy's thinking about doing a food truck. What do y'all think about that? Y'all think they might, just being really open and candid with whatever those ideas are helps to keep it alive. Not only that, it puts it in the atmosphere. So whoever's supposed to be a part of that, God has a way of just sending those, again, extra arms and hands to help you to move those things forward. But the challenges, they do come. So when a challenge comes, and I have to go back to your Don't Miss a Beat, going to, what was your? Beauty and the Beat. I'm thinking about another beat event. But you transition from that to Elevate Her, knowing that that first tier of ministry served its purpose, and shifting it was not to say it was a failure at all. It was a pivot.
Yes.
How does one embrace those pivots in life? Because sometimes we do think, somebody else is doing exactly what I was doing, and I started doing that, and now I'm doing this. Did I miss it, or was it really a pivot? How does one make that type of resolve to know that this is okay?
So I think with in the pivot, you're able to see your growth, and you're able to see exactly where you are and where you came from and where you're growing or going to. So I would say embrace the pivot and know that exactly where you are you are where you're supposed to be. And even though Beauty and the Beat was a wonderful experience and a wonderful joint venture, I felt like I leaned on my partner so much, and that was sort of like my crutch.
Okay.
And I was not able to fully blossom into who Rickell is supposed to be. And she has expressed that to me countless times. So I would just say, oh no, you're gonna talk, you're gonna talk, you're gonna talk. So I would say embrace the pivot and embrace the season that you're in, and allow you to develop and change and be okay with it. And that's where I think I am, being okay with this version of Rickell and allowing myself to still grow and develop.
I love it. It's a lot of that permission again.
Yeah.
Just that allowing to know that life is a journey, and hopefully we'll have so many different things that we can look back on this journey and we say, oh, that was a good season. I did that. Oh, I forgot I did this. And oh, I did this. And so as we continue to evolve and elevate whatever the season is calling for us to do in ministry, in community, in our families, we know that the impact that it's going to have for the right people will take place. So you talked about matters of the heart, and so you have a couple of events that are going to be coming up soon. Tell us about those.
Yes, so Matters of the Hearts is a 4-part series. We did part 1 already. We're going to have a second one that will be geared towards married couples. It will be another one geared towards women again, and then we will have the last one. Not sure exactly what the last one is going to be just yet. And then I'm working on Elevate Her Boldly, the conference for this year. Will be sometime in September, but we're still praying about that one there.
Tell us about that conference. I've been a couple of times, and I tell you, it's a time of refreshing. it's not one of those traditional kind of brunches. We have a lot of brunches that take place and events, but this one is, as you said so many times in our conversation, the intentionality to make sure that people do have those touch points with another person, touch points with the Lord, touch points with themselves. So just for those who've never been, tell us about what that experience is and what your mindset is when you're planning it.
So Elevate Her Boldly is a 2-day conference. The first day is like a worship experience and a speaker. And the worship experience, of course, is by my wonderful husband,
Yes.
Rickell Hill, and some other musicians as well as musical directors and different wonderful voices within our city will come together Friday night, and they'll just, allow us to be a part of what they put together.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is a brunch that's geared towards women networking, a panel discussion, as well as different things that we put together. But in the planning for Elevate Her Boldly, it does take a lot.
Yes.
It takes a lot. And to have the right speakers, and I do center it around a theme, and last year was Owning Your Voice, and I felt like that was a season that I was going through, and all of the speakers that were selected are normally selected based on the theme and where they are in their current season or something that they may have went through that gears towards the theme. So this year, the theme is Reset.
Yeah.
And we're still working towards what that would look like. But it is a 2-day event here in Jacksonville, Florida, geared towards women empowerment, women networking, and just women coming together to love on one another and build sisterhood and community.
Rickell, as we conclude this incredible conversation, I must ask this question. How do you make time for rest and self-care?
So I would say sometimes I don't, and that's when I can feel like, oh, Rickell, you need to take a pause, and that's why I did have to take a break. So I'm able to tell, within my body, or I can become a little irritable, and my husband like, okay, hold on, or the girls would be like, mommy.
Yeah.
So I would say I do have one day during the week, but husband is busy, so that one day is no longer, but it will come back around because I'm going to talk to mom.
Amen.
But I do get one day during the week, and then I just find those moments, whether it's the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, to sit with myself. And I'm doing a whole lot better now. I can't say that I've always done that in the past, and I have experienced burnout. So I will say I'm doing a whole lot better now, and I have not always done that. And I'm listening to my body more, and I'm showing up for Rickell before I can show up for other people. So definitely rest is important. Eating healthy, exercising, all of that is important.
It's the game changer. It is the thing that is going to make our impact be more indelible. Thank you so much for being on our show. This was an incredible, refreshing, and an empowering conversation, not only for mothers, but just for women, period. And we thank you for saying yes to the call, and we look forward to what you're going to be doing in the future. Hey, if you want to keep up with Rickell, you can find her on social media, Rickell Hill.
Yes, Rickell Hill on Facebook.
And you have a website as well?
Not yet.
Okay, website is coming, so make sure you stay tuned on the social media platforms. And thank you all so much for tuning into the In the Know radio show that takes place every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Keep up with me on my website, www.taylormadevoices.com, and have an incredible Saturday. We got a little extra minute. That was good. Hey, y'all. See, you get the behind the scenes stuff with the headphones and the earrings and the head and all the good things. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I'll be re-airing it again, and I'll have the link where you can see it on my YouTube channel as well. Rickell Hill, y'all. Bye. Thank you.
This is the place to be. Turn your radio station to victory. Where the spirit of the Lord is liberty. Tune in to the station that sets you free. We going up right right now. Please tune in, don't touch that dial. We so blessed and you wanna know how, not talking. We just living out loud.